Do you know that RBI now scores banks just like students based on how well they submit their homework? And no, I am not at all joking. This is called as Supervisory Data Quality Index, or SDQI. Okay, SDQI. Now let's decode this, what it is all about and why it matters for the India's financial system. So hello everyone, my name is Prateek Taldar, and we'll be discussing about the SDQI data for the month of March 2025. Before starting the discussion, if you haven't registered for this webinar yet, please do the same. It's on 21st June 2025, 4 p.m. So here you will be getting the 60-day study plan for your RBI Grade B preparation, and there will be a Q&A session as well. We have launched the RBI course that is with books, so you'll be physically getting the books as well. You can download the Oliveboard application as well, and there you can download all the PDFs related to all the YouTube sessions, and you'll be getting all the notifications related to the videos being posted on YouTube as well, right? Let's have a quick background what SDQI is all about. It's Supervisory Data Quality Index. What is the full form of SDQI? Supervisory Data Quality Index, right? It is a performance measurement framework. Now किसका performance measure करेंगे? Obviously scheduled commercial banks का, right? कौन measure करेगा? RBI will be measuring. It's a performance measurement framework. Now how can RBI measure the performance if they don't have the data, right? So here the banks are required to submit their data, certain amount of data related to performance, and then RBI will be doing definitely a performance measurement of by taking into account the data, right? So it's a performance measurement framework which is developed by the Reserve Bank of India to assess the quality. Okay, so here RBI is assessing the quality of what? Of supervisory data submitted by the scheduled commercial banks. So what banks will be doing here? They will be submitting their data to the RBI. The data will be related to the supervisory data. Once the RBI gets this data from the banks, the RBI will be evaluating on the basis of this data, and it will be doing the performance measurement of the banks, right? Now what this data is all about, so the dimensions that are being measured here is in terms of accuracy, how accurate the data is, whether the data is complete, so completeness, timeliness, whether the banks have submitted timely, whether the banks have submitted the data timely or not, that's also a criteria in it, and consistency, how consistently banks are following the procedures, right? So please do remember the full form of SDQI, Supervisory Data Quality Index. Next thing that you need to remember is the dimensions that are being measured in the SDQI. So there are 4 dimensions: accuracy, completeness, timeliness, and consistency. Okay, do remember these 4 dimensions, very, very important for your examination, right? Now what is the purpose of this? Why we are doing this? Just to evaluate the bank on their adherence to the principles that are being laid down in a master direction. So in the year 2024, RBI has released a master direction on filing of supervisory returns. So right, every bank has to file the supervisory return with the RBI. Now on the basis of that filed return, RBI will be doing an analysis. RBI will be measuring the performance based on these 4 dimensions: accuracy, completeness, timeliness, and consistency, right? Here is the data in front of you, right? It's been released on 18th of June 2025. Supervisory Data Quality Index for scheduled commercial banks. This data relates to March 2025. Very important for your examination. Here you can see the data of March 2024. Here is the data on the right hand side. It is the data of March 2025. So we can do the year-on-year analysis. And as I told you, 4 criteria are there: accuracy, completeness, timeliness, and consistently, whether the data is accurate, whether the data is complete, submitted on timely basis, and whether consistency is there in the data or not, right? These are the 4 criteria. So if I talk about scheduled commercial banks, you need to know the SDQI score of 89.3, right? That's the data of March 2025. So if I talk about scheduled commercial banks, earlier it used to have a SDQI of 88.6. Now it has been increased to 89.3. So there is a overall increase in the data of scheduled commercial bank if I talk about all the parameters: accuracy, completeness, timeliness, and consistency, right? If I talk about public sector bank, then earlier the index was 89.2, now it is 88.8. okay, so one thing you need to know that there is a decline in the data of public sector bank. If I talk about the overall SDQI, okay, I'm talking about the overall SDQI here. So there is a decline in the data of public sector bank. Scheduled commercial bank के अंदर increase है. If I talk about private sector bank, again there is an increase. It was earlier 88.9, now it is 89.6. Foreign banks, again there is an increase, 87.6 है 89.1. However, if I talk about small finance bank, there is a decline again, a slight decline, 91 से 90.6 हो चुका है. So please do remember SDQI is reduced for public sector bank and small finance bank, right? SDQI index is down for public sector index, for public sector banks and small finance bank, right? There is a slight decline. However, there is a decline year on year basis as compared to the previous year of March 2024. We are having a decline in the March 2025. Do remember this thing, right? If we talk about the individual data, then in accuracy we can see that the highest data which is being posted is by private sector banks, right? 87.5, highest in terms of accuracy. If I talk about completeness, then all are 90 plus here. That's amazing, right? Highest is the public sector bank, right? The data is complete of public sector bank, highest number 99.4. If I talk about timeliness, then small finance banks are leading the pack in timeliness. Consistency, again small finance bank are leading the pack in consistency, right? So that's amazing. Next, if I talk about individual parameters, so I have given you it in summarized manner as well. Some of the students feel it hard to study from the table, so I have summarized it in text format as well. If I talk about accuracy, the highest वहाँ पे किसका था? Private banks का था, right? Completeness के अंदर public sector bank, timeliness के अंदर small finance bank and consistency के अंदर again सबका लगभग 85 plus ही था. However, small finance bank in consistency as well, right? Now here is the distribution of the SDQI scores for scheduled commercial banks. So here are the number of the entities, okay? On this diagram we can see the number of the entities like 42, 44. So these are the number of entity 1, okay? We'll be discussing the data related to March 2025. What do we mean by these colors? So there is an index, okay? There is a what is the interpretation of score here? If the score is less than 70, then there is a big issue. If the score is less than 70, then there are major concerns. However, I cannot see the blue color here, right, in the chart. So there are no major concern wale banks here in this chart. If the data is between 70 to 80, which is the orange color that I can see on the chart, that means the bank needs improvement. So I can see that the orange wala data, need improvement wala data, has fallen to only just one entity. Right now there is only one entity that is requiring the improvement, right? So that's great. The data has been improving consistently. If I talk about quarter on quarter basis, right? These are the quarterly figures that I can see. Between 80 to 90, what do we mean by between 80 to 90? That is acceptable, right? That is acceptable. So 44 entities are clearly acceptable here, and more than 90 is a good data. More than 90 is a good data. If I talk about March 2025 compared to December 2024 quarter on quarter basis, there is an increment in the number of entities that are reporting good data, right? Earlier there used to be 39 such entities. Now there are 42 entities that are reporting a score of more than 90%, and that's amazing. That's why the SDQI is consistently increasing year on year basis as well. They have given us the individual charts as well, right? So if I talk about timeliness, there is an increment, right? If I talk about completeness, there is a overall decrement, right? Quarter on quarter basis. Accuracy की बात करें तो again there is a very slight, very marginal increment. And consistency की बात करें, again there is a marginal increment. So I can say that only the completeness वाला chart has saw slight decline of 0.2 here, right? Otherwise all are marginally improved only, right? If I talk about the overall SDQI score, so there is a there is an increase definitely quarter on quarter basis. So as compared to December 2024, the data was 89 and now it has marginally increased to 89.3, right? So this is the data of scheduled commercial bank. Okay guys, so that's all from my end for today. Thank you so much. This was a short video on the SDQI score. You need to remember this data, the March 2025 wala data, for your examination purpose. Okay guys, thank you so much. Bye bye, take care.